People ask me all the time. They say, Lee, if you're so smart, how come you're not rich? Well, I am. I'm working on my second million. It's because I gave up on the first. People will derisively ask, well, if you're so clever, why don't you just predict the lottery and retire? Well, the problem exists. The problem is that I am a mind reader, a thought reader. And those little balls bouncing around in the cage don't have any thoughts. I've tried. It doesn't work. But if someone else has a lottery number in their mind, it might be possible to bring that out. I'm going to conduct a lottery this evening, as a matter of fact. Now, normally, in Arizona, the lottery is done this way, and I'm sure in your locale it may be done very much the same. It's televised. There's a large, kind of a transparent mixmaster machine, and all of the balls are lined up in rows, all the numbers showing, so you can see the drawing is legitimate. They're triggered, dumped into the mixing machine, they tumble around, and usually some minor celebrity or even a person off the street is asked to push the button, which causes the little gate to open and the balls come out and the drawing is made. Is that pretty much how they do it here? Okay. Well, I brought along my lottery machine today. I didn't bring along the big one. I'm traveling light this time. Instead, I brought along this lottery machine. These are actually not playing cards. They are, however, numbered cards. And as you can see, well, I'll walk to this gentleman. As you can see, sir, they are numbered from 1 all the way through to 52. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. If you'd be so kind, sir, will you randomize those numbers? That means shuffle the cards. Ooh, we got a real show-off here. All right. All right. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Well, here, take some back. Here, you take some. Oh, sorry. Sudden gust of gravity there. Will you take some? You take some. And each of you, please mix your cards. Mix, 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 mix. All right. Good. And I'll collect them once again. Now, I think you'll agree that that is a pretty fair mixing, even if this gentleman was a cohort of mine. Everyone else. As a matter of fact, your name, sir?
Carrie.
Carrie. Come with me, Carrie. Right up here. Hold out your hand. Good. A little lower. Right there. Now, this will simulate the balls tumbling around in the little Mixmaster. You will be the person who, as the balls are tumbling around in the Mixmaster, as the numbers are being mixed, anytime you want, push the button, we'll begin the drawing. Right there. Good. Square those into the dealing position, please. You have a 6-number lottery here, do you not? Please deal face down 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since we have more than 6, keep dealing in rotation until all of them are exhausted.
Okay.
Or you are, yes. Good. Then our numbers for tonight's drawing, Carrie, will be 23. Let's see, that'll be a 6. No, it's a 6, because the ones on the corner tell you it's a 6. That's a deuce. That's a 14. A 37, and a 35. Well now, by the way, remember I said that it usually works best when it's in someone else's mind. There is one more thing that we're using this evening. I left it in the card box. Will you take it out, please? And just tell everybody what it is you've found inside.
Oregon Megabucks lottery ticket.
A lottery ticket. And for what date is it valid, or when is the drawing?
The drawing is March 30, 1996.
Oh, that would be Saturday. That would be in just a couple of days.
Yes.
All right. Now, there are 2 sets of numbers on there, an A pick and a B pick. I suspect you'll probably want to go with the B pick. Will you please read those numbers one at a time, nice and loud?
2.
2.
6.
6.
14.
14.
23.
23.
35.
35.
37.
37. You did it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. That is a valid Oregon Lotto ticket. It is yours to keep, yours to play, and yours to win. And I know for a fact that if you win, you will split with me, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, of course you will. Thank you very much. All right. This is a delightful piece that addresses everyone's fantasy, and it is so easy. You already know how to do it. The hardest part is going to be for you to come up with a deck of numbered cards, because Haynes House of Cards, who used to make them, no longer does. I understand the European supplier, Piatnik, still makes numbered cards, so you'll want to check with your local purveyor of supplies to bring in some Piatnik numbered cards. Failing that, you can go to your education supply store, the Smart Kids stores, there are others by other names, where you can get a deck of numbered flashcards. They're a little larger than our playing cards, thus precluding one of the moves I'm going to show you, but it's not all that difficult. The very first thing you do is to take all of those cards and to place them in order. I mean, put 1, 2, 3 on the front and 49, 50, 51, and 52 on the back. And there is a really good reason for that, especially if the cards are numbered with these little indices in the corner. One is an index, several are indices. I'm not shucking you. That's the truth. It's actual. Everything is satisfactual. Okay, now, once you have put these in numbered order, 1 on the front, 52 on the back, oh yeah. You look at your lottery ticket and you remove from the deck the 6 cards which are the winners. You put those in your pocket. Now we don't have to worry about the shuffle, do we? Now, how else? Now, there's one very neat bit of mentalist thinking here. And I noticed that because they had the numbers on them, and I can still do a reasonably decent pressure fan, the product of a misspent youth. But I walk up to the fellow and I say, now you'll notice these cards are numbered 1 through 52, all the way through 52. Is that correct, sir? And he says, yes, that's correct. The audience assumes that he has seen all of those indices and is telling us that, yes, all of the cards are there. Because I said they go from 1 all the way through 52. Isn't that right? And he said, yes. What he's actually saying yes to is, I see the number 52. Okay, because that's what I've done. I say they go from 1 all the way through 52. Is that right? He says, yes. All right. It's double speak. But mentalists use a lot of that. So now it's necessary for him to start shuffling. And you also want to make a comment about his shuffle, because you need to get those cards out of your pocket. Now, for crying out loud, don't think palm. Because if you think you palm the cards, sure enough, in a second you're going to blink. You know what I'm talking about, you sleight of hand guys. If you think palm, you're going to go, I love you. Okay? So don't. Just hold him in your hand, and when you make the remark about his shuffling, and try not to make it a derisive one, all right? I mean, in my earlier life, I was a wisecracking magician. And I learned that that's a wonderful way to alienate an audience as a mentalist, because you need the audience as a mentalist. For magic, they can watch, they can hate you, they can be amazed, they can applaud, they can leave. But they have to like you as a mentalist. So don't use lines like, oh, first day with your new fingers, eh? I mean, that's just not appropriate here. But you can't, wow, you really shuffle great. Man, you're really making it difficult. Something of that sort. Praise him a little bit. But at that moment, when I say that, the hand comes out of the pocket with the cards in it, just right down at the side of my body. I'm not thinking about it. I'm trying real hard not to think about it, because if I thought about it, this is one of those semi-mystical things that we mentalists experience. If you think about something, you're going to stiffen up just a little tiny bit, and your audience is going to pick up on that. Audiences are always reading you, just like we're trying to read audiences. It's called body language, okay? And you can tell when someone's on stage and doesn't feel comfortable, and your heart just breaks for them. Well, the audience can feel that too. Now, they may not say, aha, he's standing stiffly. I'll bet he has exactly 6 cards held in his hand, not palmed. But they do know something's not right. So therefore, just keep it out of your mind. Now, we need to get these cards on top of those. Here's a problem, because it's hard. I'll tell you how to do it easy. You see, in one of my few privileged, rare communications with the professor, with Dave Vernon, when I went to the castle and I genuflected at the end table and primed the pump with a couple of scotches. And then I asked, Professor, I have a need to add some palmed out top stock back on top of the deck. And he said,
That's the hardest thing you can do.
He did. That's exactly how he said,
It's the hardest thing you can do. It's really difficult. Take you years.
so I don't do it. Instead of placing the top stock back on the deck, which involves a perfect placement, and the eye always follows the moving hand, so it's really tough. Instead of putting the cards back on top of the deck, I put the deck under the cards. Now, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but see what I mean when I actually demonstrate it again. First of all, he's shuffling. He has the cards in his hand. Now, in a moment, I'm going to hold out my left hand for a gesture. Then I take the cards, and I need to put the cards underneath these. Okay? And when I do, I need a reason, so therefore I'm going to clear my left hand for a gesture. So it's done like this. Watch. And he shuffles, and I take the card, I reach out for the cards this way, and I say, by the way, sir, are you right-handed or left-handed? Right. See? That's all it takes. The only person, or one of the few people who can spot me, is this guy here anyway. And when I ask him a question, he always looks up to answer. He looks me right in the eye. I don't know what there is about it. Somebody replying to a question, they look at you. All right? Now, this is ugly. I put these cards back ugly. This is not pretty. That noise you heard was Ed Marlowe rolling over in his grave. Okay? You ever notice the older Ed Marlowe got, the more he resembled Freddy Krueger? Did you ever? Anyway, here's where you are. Okay? You're at this point, or maybe this point, but they're ugly. It's not pretty. Doesn't matter. I ask, are you right-handed or left-handed? He said, right-handed. Oh, well, here, take some of them back. And I just give him the ones I added. Did you notice I kind of eased the word back in there? I didn't want to say it too loud, but I said, well, here, take some back. Here, and you take some, and you take some. By using the word back, it kind of implants the idea that they actually came from him, which they didn't. They came out of the pocket. All right? Now, if you're using the flash cards, the larger-than-life cards that would be impossible to palm anyway, this is the point at which you start. For a lay audience, it simply doesn't matter. Take the winning lottery number cards, put them on top of the deck, hold your finger underneath to make a great big break, and if you want to, you can flip through the cards saying, and we have all the numbers in the deck, and now if you would, here, you take some and mix these, and you take some and mix. So that's where you start if you're using if you don't want to have to do the thing out of the pocket, okay? But I felt it was necessary to do the business out of the pocket to nail you because you're a bunch of magicians. Okay, now, and that's the kind of stuff you like, right? All right, so anyway, we gather all the cards back after they've been shuffled, and all of these go right back on top. Now, we're almost set because what I need to do is to get these 6 cards on the bottom of a bunch of others. Carrie, for a moment, could I have you stand here one more time, please? Thank you. And the hand goes out. And remember, the analogy we're making is the lotto machine. All right? And exactly as all the balls were lined up to show they're all there, the cards were first all lined up to show they were there. Then they were dumped and mixed. Then the balls were tumbled and tumbled. Well, that's my excuse for tumbling and tumbling over and over. Now, you don't tell them to push the button until you've dealt at least 6 cards. Okay? Otherwise, the ending is not exactly what you're looking for. All right? So wait until you've dealt 6, 7, 8 cards, and anytime he wants to, he pushes the button and he stops. Now, just back away. Now, whatever you do, please don't say something like, I'm not going to touch those cards now. Well, why should it matter? They've been shuffled. They've been fairly mixed. Okay? Don't run when you're not being chased. C-H-A-S-T-E. Then, all that remains from this point on then, since the selected cards, since the 6 cards we want are on the bottom, I offer a tray for Carrie to deal, and I tell him to deal 6 cards face down in a row from here to here. And he does. He deals 6 cards. And obviously, since there are more than 6, I tell him to keep dealing in rotation until all the cards are exhausted, or until you are. Okay? And therefore, the last 6 cards dealt will always be the top 6 cards of those 6 piles. It's the old 4-ace trick. Well, that's a 6-ace trick. Okay? Thank you, Carrie. Any questions on that? All right. Oh. Thank you. One more thing. You might be tempted to go cheap and not buy a lottery ticket at all. and actually just write the winning numbers, say, on the bottom of the tray. And then he does all the business and he draws the 6 numbers, and then you turn the tray over and show the numbers on the bottom. See, aren't I wonderful? I predicted what? No. I don't know why, but the presentation is much more effective when you use a real lottery ticket. It gives it some kind of veracity that you couldn't buy otherwise. Okay? I mean, you could have written those same numbers down, but it's a real lottery ticket. And people will go away saying, hey, he predicted a lotto number. Okay? And of course, the other thing you're doing is you're sending away the person off the stage not only with thanks, but potentially with several $1 million. Now you think, but what if you give away a ticket and it wins? So, what's the big deal? He said he was going to split with me. No, he has no choice. Take out the ticket. He has no choice. You see, what I did was I signed the back of the ticket. He will split with me. All right. And by the way, if you forget to sign it and the fellow does hit and he chooses to be a Scrooge and not split with you, then all you do is get yourself a good lawyer and sue him like crazy, at the same time sending press releases to the National Enquirer, the Daily Star, the London Globe. You will get far more in publicity as a mentalist who's suing to get half of his winnings from a correct pick than you probably would have gotten from the numbers themselves, okay? This delightful piece was contributed to Syzygy by Chris Hurlburt. Chris is a mentalist who lives up in Meriden, Connecticut. And he is one of my regular contributors and a name you will hear about in the future of mentalism. He called this Running the Numbers, and I hope you enjoyed it.